What's going on, guys? We got an absolutely crazy one today. From disturbing AI robot encounters to unexplained landmarks, artifacts that really just aren't adding up, crazy theories that no one can explain. Hit that like and subscribe button and let's dive in.
There was a user trying to control his robot vacuum with the PS5 controller. He accidentally exposed a huge security flaw, gaining access to nearly 7,000 other vacuums. Those vacuums had live cameras, mic feeds, and floor plans. Also, what's funny is when he connected his, he was also simultaneously moving all 7,000 of those at the same time.
At this point, I'm starting to think these aren't robot vacuums at all. They damn near a surveillance drone.
He claims he wasn't trying to hack every robot vacuum in the world. He just wanted to remote control his brand new Romo vacuum with a PS5 gamepad because it sounded fun. He could remotely control them and look and listen through their live camera feeds. He said he tested that out with a friend. He could watch them map out each room of a house, generating a complete 2D floor plan. And then he could use any robot IP address to find its rough location. And you might think that vacuum on the ground's moving around because it's about to hit a wall, or that's just how it's algorithmically supposed to move. But what it's saying here is someone could take control of that thing and move it to wherever it wants. And it has a camera and a mic in it. He showed his level of access in a live demo. Tens, hundreds, thousands of robots reporting for duty. Each phoning home, data packets every 3 seconds to say their serial number, which rooms they're cleaning, what they've seen, and how far they've traveled. With nothing more than 14-digit number, the hacker could not only pull up any robot, he could correctly see if it's cleaning a living room or what the battery life was. And within minutes, he made the robot generate and transmit an accurate floor plan of his friend's house with the correct shape and size of each room just by typing in some digits into a laptop. Separately, he pulled up his own DJI Romo's live video feed, completely bypassing its security pin, and walked into his living room and waved to the camera.
What I want to know is, why would a robot vacuum need a microphone?
Your heart is not a pump. It is something so much greater than that, which seemingly is intentionally hidden from us, because there's no way those at the top of this whole thing don't know this, and yet I do. And it's not just me. This is Rudolf Steiner, the creator of Waldorf schools, which are all around the world. He says for human beings to make true progress, they need to understand that the heart is not a pump. Well, that's a pretty freaking bold claim. What about all the doctors and scientists and all the smartest, most brilliant nerds out there? I'm just kidding. But I mean, it's a pump, right? There's valves and blah, blah, blah. Wait until you hear this. Steiner said the heart is a 7-sided regular form that sits in an imaginary box in the chest. A 7-sided regular form means a 3-dimensional form, and the regular part means the surface areas are all identical. So Frank Chester, a scientist, tried to design a 7-sided regular form, and he succeeded. And he did this, some think, to disprove or debunk, or he was just curious, like, what the Sam damn Steiner talking about? So he designs this object called a Chestahedron, he named it. And it sits in a square box at an angle of 36 degrees. This is the same angle at which the heart sits within the chest. And you're already thinking, that's not what our heart looks like, big deal, what's that big idea? Well, he put this Chestahedron in water and spun it, attached it to a pole and spun it, and it makes a double helix formation in the water, like your DNA. It's a vortex. Now, when you unravel the heart, it is one singular muscle that is in a spiral shape. It's formed into a spiral. Now, we know from Victor Schauberger that when water forms this spiral formation, there is negative ions that are created. And apparently those negative ions, and when the water goes through this vortex, it also becomes into what's known as the fourth phase of water. Not solid, not liquid, not gas, but fourth phase water, which has totally different properties than regular water. We also know that our bodies are 70% water, roughly. Unless you're drinking fluoride and Coca-Cola all the time, then it's probably much lower. Now, this would mean that the heart is not pumping blood, but it's vortexing blood, getting it full of negative ions, which are very beneficial for you, and that it actually runs on negative ions. And according to Rudolf Steiner, this is what he said, the heart would run indefinitely as long as it didn't run out of its charge those negative ions. And you get those negative ions from positive thoughts, bare feet on the ground, grounding, healthy foods, and everything lovely and beautiful in this realm that we live in. Isn't it interesting? They get everyone wearing, billions of people right now are wearing rubber-soled shoes, cutting them off from the natural electromagnetic properties of the earth, which puts negative ions into your body. I'm sure there's not an agenda behind that. So, is our heart a pump, or is it a vortex energy generator? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below and follow for more.
I mean, guys, honestly, how fascinating is this? No one really talks about this stuff. And how it pumped and made the water do a double helix? That is insane.
El agua por la parte del muro, se está la grilla aquí adentro, entonces se abre realmente. Mira el agua. ¡Ey! Vamos a juntar el agua por la parte del muro, se está la grilla aquí adentro, entonces se abre realmente. Mira el agua. ¡Ey!
Arkadaşlar hepinize merhaba. Şu kayayı görüyorsunuz ha? Şöyle bakın. Normal bir kaya. Tabii ben biraz yaklaştığım için ucu belli oldu. Şimdi şöyle yaklaşıyoruz. Bu kayanın
I wouldn't dare go in there. It's dark. You don't know what's crawling inside there. Oh, man.
çok büyük bir mezar var.
Vamos a juntar el agua por la
Oh, my goodness. Look at the inside of this cave. It looks like something you would see inside hell.
Voilà pourquoi on se fait chier à passer les étroitures. Pour voir ça. Et ça, c'est incroyable.
This first part is what's getting me. Just look at how the stuff's just growing inside. Off the walls, oozing out. I wonder if it's slimy. It looks like an inside of a giant Nephilim, to say the least.
A lot of you wanted to hear more on Turkmenistan from my previous video. It's a very beautiful and mysterious country, especially its capital, Ashgabat. Just look at the architecture. This is said to be just a Ferris wheel, a fully enclosed one. And you'll notice that star pattern in all of these beautiful structures. That's repeated all over. It's a beautiful city, but it's mostly empty. It looks like it's made to have tourists in the millions. But in fact, this country is one of the least traveled to countries in the world. The mainstream media says Turkmenistan is nothing more than just a country ruled by a dictator that built all of this architecture for seemingly.
That is extremely odd. It's almost like a reset happened there recently and no one's talking about it, you know?
No reason. Of course, any news or communication with a majority of Turkmenistan is pretty much impossible. All the apps in the Western world, pretty much all of them are banned, and cell phones included. But one of the most beautiful parts of Turkmenistan is from above. Look at that architecture. Everything was built and laid out with such purpose and such pattern. Just like those old world Tartarian structures. Is this one of the last remnants of the old world, hidden in the desert? Or if we trust the experts in the mainstream media, is it just nothing more than a dictator's playground? A dictator that seems to love to emulate the layout and infrastructure of the old world. Question everything, friends. Until next time.
What an extremely odd place. Like he said, one of the last Tartarian-like civilizations, Turkmenistan. And it just gives that vibe like a reset just popped off. Like, while all of us were alive, a reset happened recently and they just haven't been talking about it. Like it was under our noses type feeling, you know?
We gotta talk about this. This is a dry river in India. and it revealed these stones, these ancient carvings in the stones. These carvings are called lingams, and in the Hindu tradition, they are very significant to their religious practice. These are in the Shamala River. Probably butchering that name, sorry. The pointy part is the lingam. The base is the yoni. You often see these with snakes around them, and sometimes even with bulls around them. Some of these are absolutely massive, and some are carved out of multi-ton single-piece rocks. When they're inside of temples, you can often find them under these decorative ceilings. But if you find many of them in the wild, they look decapitated. So my man Praveen has done some investigating. Follow him on YouTube if you're not. A recent temple excavation revealed this. Underneath the lingam was specific metals in a specific configuration. They also found these iron spatulas that conveniently never rust. Here is what was underneath that lingam. Inside that pot is rice husk. So Praveen recreated this experiment and used a silver rod and an iron rod in the rice husk in a pot, and it created electric current. Putting a bunch of these together, he could light up an LED. Now, lingams are not exclusive to India. They're found all over the world, but I want to focus on Egypt. India and Egypt were close. Now, these are going to make a lot more sense. If you do a quick search for the Baghdad battery, you'll see this pop up. Egypt used this for electricity. You can find this on the walls at the Dendera temple complex. The word for bull is Taurus. This comes from the Aramaic word tor. The torus is the shape of energetic flow. The snakes represent vibration, most of the time from the sun. So containing the energy of the sun in a bowl is exactly the concept of a tokamak reactor in our culture. Snake charmers are magicians. They use magnets to magnetically charm the snakes. I'm telling you, India is the key. India is where it's at.
They had a whole temple of these structures. I feel like they no doubt had electricity. If we just take a look at all the ancient structures, they look like ancient petrified machines, to be honest. Like all the features on all those buildings rotate. Gears on top of the ceiling. There's gears on top of on the side of the building. Pillars rotate. I mean, they were, if you ask me, they're definitely generating back in the day. 100%. Oxygen levels.
Oxygen levels are recharged at 100%.
Set a course to DarkWaters 9. Reindeer shredding velvet looks so creepy. This does look like a scene out of the horror movie. You see, if I was out in the wild and I saw this thing walking around with all this velvet hanging, I would be terrified. First thing I would think that this escaped from some type of lab or something. But hey, you learn stuff every day.
This was in Mexico's sky.
Mexico, and it appears to be a wheel within a wheel. Let me zoom in real quick. Or several wheels within wheels. And in the middle, it looks like an eye, like literally one eye. We talked about like Ezekiel's wheel within a wheel described as angels. But this is why I believe AI was created. It was created to deceive us in the last days. We're not going to know if this is real or fake. Why? Because they have created so many things that will make things appear fake. Do I believe that this is real? Absolutely. That's the deception of it all. Is that they're going to want you to think that the things that are real are actually fake and the things that are fake are actually real. A lot of people are claiming that this is 3-Eye Atlas. It's not 3-Eye Atlas because the pictures that we got of 3-Eye Atlas is completely different than that. These are the signs and wonders of the last days. They don't want you to believe that this is that. Okay, so they're going to try and drive the narrative that everything is fake that you're seeing, which would make us not understand the times and seasons that we are in. All I'm gonna say is, if this is real, we are close, y'all. We are close.
Everything nowadays does kind of give you that AI buffer. Like, man, is this AI? You know, I feel like a year or two ago, we were saying, oh, that's CGI or Photoshop. That's got completely taken out. Now we just say that's AI. Santa Claus was never red.
Santa Claus used to wear green, brown, and even blue until Coca-Cola launched one of the greatest marketing campaigns in history and permanently dressed him in red. For centuries, St. Nicholas and Father Christmas were depicted in basically every color you can imagine. Green robes, tan cloaks, blue capes. There was no official look. Each culture drew him in their own way. Then in the 1800s, an American illustrator named Thomas Nast tried to bring some order to the chaos. He's the guy who gave Santa the round belly, the big beard, and the workshop at the North.
This is terrifying. This doll right here, this is terrifying.
North Pole. But even Nast couldn't decide on a color. Sometimes he drew Santa in red and other times in brown, green, or even white.
Why every picture you see?
And other times in brown.
Like, come on, man. This is terrifying. He's giving you that wink. Like, I'm coming for you.
Brown, green, or even white. So heading into the 1900s, Santa didn't have a fixed look. And that's where Coca-Cola enters the story. In 1931, Coke hired illustrator Haddon Sundblom to create a friendly, warm human Santa for their holiday ad. Sundblom chose Coca-Cola's bright red for the suit, not because...
Did you hear him? He said friendly looking Santa, because if we go to any old picture of Santa, it is looking creepy.
Of history, but because it matched the bottle. Then Coke did something that no one else had the money or scale to do. They ran these ads everywhere. Magazines, newspapers, storefronts, billboards, year after year, all over the world. And suddenly the entire planet was seeing the same Santa in the same red suit every year on Christmas. By the 1950s, all the old green, brown, and blue versions basically disappeared. Not because they were wrong, but because Coca-Cola's branding became the default. Coke didn't invent Santa or his red suit, but they did standardize them. And that's why the Santa we picture today with the red coat, fluffy trim, rosy cheeks, is really the result of one of the most successful marketing campaigns in human history.
All right, guys, we have a little bit more information by my boy Jay with smartphone-assisted biosensors and point-of-care diagnosis integration applications for future challenges.
This is a Harvard website. Smartphone-assisted biosensors and point-of-care diagnostics, integration applications, and future challenges. Point-of-care (POC) diagnostics is being revolutionized by smartphone-assisted biosensors, which combine cutting-edge sensing technologies with the computing power and connectivity of smartphones. These biosensors provide a portable and affordable substitute for conventional laboratory-based diagnostics by enabling the quick, real-time analysis of physiological parameters and biomarkers.
So they're saying no more labs? Don't believe anything you hear or see on this video. It's strictly for entertainment purposes only. This is theories for contacts. So basically what they're saying in the future is that you won't need to do labs. You know, you're already full of nanobots anyway, that they smart dust, nanobots and smart dust. We can tell you more about your body than your local lab can, is basically what they saying.
Smartphone-assisted biosensors enable continuous health monitoring, enhanced patient engagement, and early disease detection by utilizing optical, electrochemical, and biomarker-based detection techniques. The development of smartphone-assisted biosensing platforms is reviewed in this article, along with their technological integration, detection methods, and medical applications. Sensor accuracy, data security, regulatory approval, and standardization continue to be challenges despite the progress. The impact of recent advancements on infectious disease management, chronic disease monitoring, and personalized medicine is highlighted in this review, which critically assesses wearable biosensors, AI-driven analytics, and smartphone-integrated disease detection systems. Well, if we scroll right down here, you will see the partners. Okay? The Smithsonian, Center for Astrophysics, and NASA.
That is crazy that those three are working together, isn't it? It is wild. I mean, I'm not surprised, but it's almost like the audacity. It's almost like the audacity of them to be just put, you know what, we're in on it. You might as well throw the Vatican in there somewhere.
So if we go to the source article, which you can click right here, alright, we'll click it. Here we are, but unfortunately, I do not have access to the full article, but I will leave the link so you guys can read over if you would like. This is a Harvard website.
I can't get over the partners. You know, it makes you think, if Skynet got out of control and they had everybody's lab reports, you know, they can be like, oh yeah, Chuck, he's got asthma. All we got to do is just make it hard for him to breathe. You know what I'm saying? AI is fighting you at your weaknesses. You know what I'm saying? They're going to be like, oh, so-and-so's a diabetic. Throw some donuts or something. His favorite cakes. You know, they're going to use your weaknesses against you. That's the terrible part about AI. They have all the information. They done siphoned and downloaded everything from the data banks. Oh my goodness. That is a crazy thought.
You thought 3G, 4G, 5G, and 6G was just faster internet? That's the cover story. Each G isn't just speed, it's a shift in control. The waveforms get tighter, the pulses get sharper, and your body becomes more vulnerable to them. These aren't harmless signals, they're precision microwave bursts. They've been linked and DNA starters, from bumblebees to human brains. You're not the customer. You're the guinea pig in a weapons-grade mesh built by 5G frequencies were tested for crowd control. And 6G? It's a battlefield tech repackaged for your smart fridge. Remind you of any other repurposed wartime Teflon Roundup? Excuse me. And now it's syncing with everything. LED lights that spy. Wearables that report your biometrics to Big Brother in real time. All feeding the Internet of Bodies while the planet cooks under billions of new transmitters. This isn't progress. It's full spectrum warfare disguised as an upgrade.
Wait till they hear about 7G. I'm just kidding. I don't know nothing about 7G. But damn, man. We all about to be tinfoiled up, man. We all gonna have our tinfoil caps on. We'll be all right, man. And I don't say that jokingly. I say that for real. Like, I know it's got a bad rap, tinfoil hats, but hey, maybe we can start a trend, you know, like copper, tinfoil lining, put all the inside tinfoil and have a copper brim. You know, it's what are we supposed to do? Go off grid and homestead? Footage of advanced old world technology still in use today. All right, we can see the ether harnessing rooftops. I would love to know where that location is. This does look like it's being projected out into the sky. I believe that was in Russia. This video has no sound. Interesting. Are those birds or bats? Funny story. I've actually went to, you could say, an old world looking structure near me. And the groundskeeper told me that bats, you know, used to be at the very top of it. You know, does it have something to do with the frequency of these structures? Looking at this video makes me think, you know, the groundkeeper even showed me the video of the bats swarming around it, just like this. So that's making me think those are actually bats. They could be birds. I'm not sure. The evidence suggests that these bridges were not built when we were told they were. They are remnants of something far older.
In France is officially attributed to Roman engineering around 50 AD. This three-tiered aqueduct bridge stands 160 feet tall and spans 902 feet. The precision of the stonework is extraordinary. Some blocks weigh up to 6 tons. yet they fit together without mortar so precisely that you can't slide a knife blade between them. Here's what engineers tell us. The Romans, using only rope, wooden scaffolding, and manpower, lifted these 6-ton blocks 160 feet into the air, and
do you know how strong the crewmen would have to be? You know, you would need the Monstars from Space Jam to do something like that.
position them with millimeter precision. They did this while maintaining perfect structural calculations that ensure the bridge has stood for nearly 2,000 years without any foundation settling or structural failure. But modern engineers, using computer modeling, cranes, and precision instruments, struggle to replicate this level of precision with blocks of this size. We've tried. The experimental archaeology programs that attempt to recreate Roman building techniques consistently fail to achieve the same level of accuracy. Yet, we're expected to believe that ancient workers with primitive tools surpassed our capabilities? The contradiction is too great to ignore.
Airships. They did it piece by piece. They came in, they stacked these one at a time, possibly, just like they did these with Legos. Or giants hauled them away. One of those two.
Look at the size, people versus that. It helps you imagine if there was a person about that tall, 12 feet tall, just utilizing the original door here. Imagine that. Imagine a huge door, top to bottom, 2 doors.
100% that used to be that.
Sheesh. Just all these buildings, these are suited for giants. The original structure of these buildings is just suited for giants.
Oh my goodness. Look at these. You just gotta love the pillars at the top of these skyscrapers. I mean, it just makes you want to go to the top. And could you imagine the view when you get up there?
Giants. Man, it's so beautiful. It's like the giants had small people that are just brilliant. It's like the giants had small people that are just brilliant artists.
This is in Chicago. I recognize this.
Like genetically designed to just do art all the time. And that's humanity's purpose, is just to be artists. And it's like that's what we did with our lives. We didn't have to work jobs unless we wanted to, because our jobs were building stuff like this. Like that's not a job, that's like a play date with eternity. I don't know how to say it better, but you know what I mean. Like that's not a job to do this artisan work. You could do it for free if that was your life purpose. Just live to do art at a very high level, very high degree of art. And I believe that's what a lot of these people did. They just lived like they had something akin to a universal income, so they could focus all their time and energies, their spirit, on creating these cities. This is a fraction of what's actually here. I hope you really feel that information, that this is a fraction of what was here. They used to have a huge rotunda building that I can add into the video. They had the White City, World Fair. They had that huge fire here. I think it was. There was World War I and II, but there was War Zero, like the first one, the one that popped shit off, the reset. The old world order was destroyed, and we advanced into the new world order. Reverse.
I think there was multiple resets. Resets on top of resets.
Engineering a bunch of these technologies where I'm allowing you to mentally portal to where I am right now through this black scrying mirror that you're utilizing to see this. Otherwise, you would just be in your space. You wouldn't be in Chicago right now, mentally. So this is like a form of mental time travel. just to realize it, it allows you to advance your consciousness. You know, what you're consciously aware of is everything. That's where your power is. So I want to make you more consciously aware that, you know, this is Sumerian. Like, these are Sumerian age buildings. How old do you think they're going to be? Especially with the type of concrete. This is like Roman concrete. Come on, guys. Like, it doesn't look old. We'll just say that. But there's parts, once you get close to it, if I could show you, there are parts that look super old, but overall, like, this stuff is sturdy as ever. I've looked into some of the masonry secrets that they had building old world America. And it's just like Roman concrete. You know, it doesn't...
They keep showing this building, and it's like they went so hard on this balcony. My goodness.
Absorb water, it doesn't get fucked up from that. So it's going to be here a long, long time. And this building is particularly special. This building is particularly special because you have parts of the world scattered throughout the entirety of this building. This building is of the world. It has literally everything.
Wow, did you see that? Scotland
building.
It is absolutely gorgeous in Scotland. I know where that's at. Are you telling me that there's rocks from there? Actual stone masonry from Scotland? That just supports that airship theory, man.
This building is of the world. It has literally everything on it. It has from Antarctica. It has the pyramids of Giza. Let's see what else we can find, actually. Royal Castle, Stockholm, Sweden. Just everything. Look at, that's the one a lot of people like. Yeah. Have that song, the viral TikTok song stuck in my head. Everyone does in front of that. They have Notre Dame, ancient temple. But also keep in mind that those cities were also deconstructed for the most part to make it even believable that we had built these cities. I believe that's what it was. It was so beyond belief, all the construction.
I just think it's fascinating that they have all these different minerals from across the world on these rocks. I didn't know that was in Chicago. Did you? That is amazing.
That took place, that they had to get rid of some stuff. Like, that's the strongest theory in my mind. And I believe a lot of people would agree with me right there. There's the Sumerian hieroglyphs. The better one is on this side, but you know, I'm kind of feeling lazy right now. This video's already stretched. Cool stuff. Shh. The World Trade Center even. Mosque. Just like, there's so much that I didn't get. It makes me want to go get everything or like do a YouTube video about it. Maybe I will tomorrow or something, but there's too much. There's too much, even though I know there's such a detraction. Holy shit. Sheesh. Antarctica.
Wow, did you see that last one? It says Antarctic Navy Exploration.
Holy shit.
Expedition 1947. Alright, it's kind of hard for you to read, but it says Antarctica U.S. Navy Expedition 1947. Now, I'm not sure what type of artifact that this is on this old world structure in Chicago, but it is indeed fascinating that, you know, you can just walk right by all these different artifacts that's attached to this old world building. Now, I'm not sure which expedition that was. That has to be Admiral Byrd in 1947, because if my memory serves me correctly, I believe the expedition did take with Admiral Byrd in 1947, and like NASA was like founded in like 1956, like right after they found some stuff out on that expedition. Let's look it up. Activate submersible. Fire Marshal Bill, let me show you something. U.S. Navy Expedition 1947. Operation Highjump. Oh my goodness. This was an artifact on this old world building that was from our Operation Highjump. How crazy is that? Look at this. Look at this. Don't take my word for it. In 1947, the U.S. Navy Antarctic expedition was officially named Operation Highjump, a massive 1946 and 1947 mission to train personnel and develop techniques for Antarctic bases, led by Admiral Richard E. Byrd, with Rear Admiral Ethan Larson as commander, involving 13 ships, 33 aircrafts, and 4,700 men to map and explore the continent, establishing Little America 4, I believe, or 5, and returning vast amounts of aerial footage, marking the largest naval venture there to date. Now, there's a lot of theories about what actually went down on Operation Highjump. Let me show you. Alright, take a look at this photo. Alright, this is a photo of an ice wall I just pulled up from Google Images. Is it the real thing? I don't know, but it is perfect for what I need to explain to you what Operation Highjump was. Basically, the theory goes that when they went to Antarctica, they came across an ice wall. So they had to hit the Operation Highjump. What does that mean? High jump. They jumped from here to there to go on top for this expedition. You know, I don't know how they did it. You know, a giant ship would probably be estimated about that big. So I don't know how they did it. They might have had airplanes coming off of boats, cargo boats. You know, they got boats that they can launch airplanes off of. So that's what I'm thinking. Actually, while I'm editing this video, we just read the document that they had more planes than actual ships. I believe it was like only 4 or 5 ships and like 18 airplanes or something like that. I can go back and get the specifics, but that shows you that they had more airplanes than boats. If we look at the giant gap, who knows how hard that vertical is to gap? You know, what's your altitude you have to get? That might be a 1,000-foot wall. We don't know how tall that wall is. Probably larger than that, but it makes you think. And when they did that, they had more the Operation Highjump for Operation Highjump. They were jumping with planes because theory goes we're in Middle Earth and there's more lands beyond the ice wall. So when we go back, we see this artifact. It says the U.S. Naval Expedition 1947. So what if this artifact right here, here it comes. What if this artifact right here on the side of this wall, I need to go get a picture next to this, man. This would be a little trip for me, but I would do it. Who's coming with me? We all need to meet up and take a picture next to it, man, honestly. But could this be an artifact from the outer lands? Y'all tell me. Think about it. If everyone's yelling ice wall, it's an expedition called Operation Highjump. I wonder why. Because you got this 1,000-foot wall, this 50-story wall in front of you that they got to launch past. That's the theory. For entertainment purposes only. Don't believe anything you hear or see on this video. Do your own research on everything. Just theories. but it makes you think. There was plenty of other operations. You got Operation Fishbowl. What was it? Operation Dominic. I believe they showed Operation Dominic at the end of the movie. What was it called? No, it was Operation Fishbowl. They showed Operation Fishbowl at the end of the movie Oppenheimer. So if you ever watch Oppenheimer, I'm not going to spoil it, but when you get to the end of the video, they allude to Operation Fishbowl. The theory, at least. That's my theory, at least. Check it out. Drop your thoughts in the comments below. I love this. I could do this all day. Hit that like and subscribe button if you're still with your boy. Go ahead and share it. How crazy is this? One more time, y'all. I'm just shocked. I wonder, and this is just one artifact, on this street. There's no telling, what else they got on this street. Damn, what a dive. Who knew that was going to happen? They got a piece of the outer lands on the old world structure in Chicago. How crazy is that? Alright, y'all, it's that time of the day again. If you thought you weren't going to get another excellent specimen of the day, think again. Hayusen. Alright, guys, we have another excellent fluorite. The dark grape Kool-Aid fluorite. You see it encrusted with white crystals on the outside. The light really makes it pop and shows the color, man. If I ever got a display, you definitely need to have the lights under it to really show the colors. There it is. What would you guys name this one? Come on, we need a good one for this one. Off the bat, if I had to name this specimen, I would call it the Grape Rubik's. The Grape Rubik's is what I would call it. Rubik's Cube.
Dark waters, 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 dark waters. Dark waters.
Submersion sequence activated.
Dark water.
Depressurizing.
Water. Dark water. Dark water.
Systems are online. Welcome back, Jet.
Waters. Dark waters. Dark waters.
Dark waters.
There you are. You better lock in and buckle up because we got another extremely deep dive. This is a continuation from the last video speaking about Greenland. All types of mysteries going over there, and we got new information you won't believe. So you better sit back and enjoy this one because we got an absolute banger for you today.
Do you find it at all interesting that with all this talk of Greenland, which they're pretending some negotiations are working out, and they're pretending that like Trump's acting out of place by trying to get Greenland. We have a movie called Greenland coming out called Migration, Greenland 2 with this guy. Now, here's the crazy part. The headlines are going wild about why Trump wants Greenland, this U.S. trade deal over Greenland and how America wants to take Greenland. Now, the cover story is that it's for safety and security coming across that ocean there with Russia and China over there. But if you've ever seen Star Wars, Revenge of the Sith, when the evil empire successfully gets rid of all the Jedi, or most of them, and takes over the galaxy, his statement, Emperor Palpatine, who is the Dark Lord of the Sith, comes out and says, now the galaxy will be more safe and more secure than ever before. Something along those lines of safety and security. And what do they say? The welfare of the people has always been the alibi of tyrants. Now, I'm not saying Trump is a tyrant, although I know many people believe that. Also, many people believe he's acting in 100% the best interests of the American people. But I do find it interesting that many, many decades ago, the better half of a century, there has been a plan, prophesized, rumored, to make the North America, Central America, the top of South America, and Greenland into one supranational mega state, like the European Union. And if you've ever read George Orwell's book, you know, in that book, fictional world, you are ruled by people you didn't get to vote for. Now, is that not what we have with the European Union? Like, people don't want to be a part of it. If you did a vote right now, most of the countries in the European Union would want out. It's a governing body, a bureaucracy that dictates what's going on into your daily lives. So we're seeing excuses for reasons why we have to go to Venezuela and Colombia. Greenland for safety and security. South America, safety and security. 51st state, Canada, 51st state. People are stoked, like they have psyoped people to believe this is an amazing thing. This is actually going to be really good. It's going to boost the economy. It's part of the plan. And do you know what the plan is on the other side of the world? Russia and China, the alliance over there, that would also become a super state. There would be 3 of them at least. And in other novels like Brave New World and Behold a Pale Horse, they're constantly at conflict with one another to keep the population under fear and control. This is biblical, dude. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below and follow for more. Do you find it at all interesting?
I find it extremely interesting. One of you guys mentioned Greenland in the comments below and said there was a movie out. I had no idea. We got to see this. And there was one before. This is number 2, right? They had a Greenland before this?
Something they did not want you ever to know.
Okay. Well, for those of you that don't know, there is a spacecraft that has melted out of the ice in Greenland. As you know, the North Pole has melted completely. You can go from London to Moscow or to Russia by going over the North Pole now. All the ice cap is gone. The last place that has ice on it was Greenland. Greenland had a 18,000 foot ice cap on it. Well, the spacecraft that is anchored in the center of Greenland created the last ice age 50,000 years ago. It's a weather machine. It's 55 miles wide, 300 miles long, and 2 miles high. People that lived in it were called the Moais. You draw a straight line from the spacecraft to the Washington Monument in Washington, D.C., through the Yucatan Peninsula Great Pyramid at Mitsubishi, and ends up on Easter Island where the Moais have been dug out of the dirt. The heads on Easter Island? Well, 2 years ago, they finally went ahead and they excavated, and they're all 65 to 85 foot people, full body carvings. And these were the people that lived in the spacecraft that was uncovered that's melting out of the ice in Greenland. So when you think we've been alone, these people have been up there for 50,000 years. The spacecraft is still active after 50,000 years. It has a 200-mile dampening field where no electrons can flow into it. In 1947, a B-52 bomber flew into that pattern, into the dampening field when trying to fly between Maine and London. As a result of that, they lost power and crashed in Greenland. As they sent in rescue B-52 bombers to rescue them, they hit that same dampening field, but they veered off. They just ricocheted off of it. And by testing, trying to get to these guys, they were able to ring a circumference and find out that there was an object 200 miles to the center of this field. On the southwest corner of Greenland, there is a small community. It's the only community on the island of Greenland. That community is a military post, CIA, that uses a compressed air generator to operate diesel engines to run a Caterpillar to run back and forth to 200 miles from the base to the object in Greenland. A lot of our technology comes from the reverse engineering out of the spacecraft. It is still functional and is still in operation. So it's pretty important what this thing is. All the nations worldwide are up there with the United Nations, and they're all working together. Point is that we're not alone out here in this universe.
Something they did not want you ever to know.
Interesting, because we do have our own weather machine, believe it or not. I wonder if they reverse engineered that technology in Greenland to make this happen.
9. The Greenland Anomaly. A land of ice and snow has been the backdrop for one of the most perplexing UFO sightings to date. In 2015, a team of geologists discovered an unexplained metallic object embedded in an ice sheet. The object emitted a low-frequency hum and was surrounded by a magnetic field that disrupted electronic equipment within a 500-meter radius. The object was excavated and taken for study, but its origin remains unknown. Theories have ranged from a piece of a satellite to an extraterrestrial probe. The metallic composition of the object was unlike any known material on Earth, containing isotopes that suggested an extraterrestrial origin. Moreover, the object was emitting a form of radiation that, while not harmful, was unlike any natural radioactive decay observed on Earth.
The United States has been very interested in Greenland for years. Officially, it's for military and strategic reasons. But what if there's another reason? Deep in northern Greenland, at these coordinates, there's a strange geometric anomaly under the ice. At first glance, it looks almost artificial, smooth, angular, and completely out of place. Some believe this could just be rock, ice, or a satellite imaging glitch. But others have a more controversial theory. What if something is buried under the ice? What if, beneath Greenland's ice sheet, there's something the world was never meant to see? Possibly even a craft, hidden in an ancient subglacial lake. Greenland is one of the most strategically important places on Earth. But what if it's not just about location? What if it's about what's under the ice? Coordinates: 78.971698, negative 67.181763. Location: deep northern Greenland, far from towns, roads, or research stations. This location is in one of the most remote and inaccessible parts of Greenland, buried under ice that's over a kilometer thick in places. The theory is that if something crashed here in the distant past, the ice could have slowly built up over it, burying and preserving it beneath the surface. The United States has been very interested in Greenland for years.
You gave us the coordinates? Say less. Activate submersible. She gave us the coordinates like we ain't about to go to it. It really couldn't be that hard to find, honestly. Take us to Greenland. I believe she said it was north. You know, Greenland is such a mystery. I don't think I've ever seen a town or anything inside of it. 78.971698, negative 67.18163 is what she said. Let's see what it brings up. All right, guys, when I punched it in, literally nothing came up when I put in the exact coordinates she said. But if we look at this image, maybe we can find the same formation and see if we can spot it in deep northern Greenland. All right, guys, we are there at 7867, the coordinates. Now, unfortunately, I wish this could go out further, but it doesn't. It is in this region. If you want to try and find it yourself, it is in this region right here. 7867 is the coordinates that pulled up. Unfortunately, it is massive, and I can't pinpoint the specifics right now. But I will do my best to find it in the future.
So the story of the Vikings in Greenland is actually a little bit of a mystery. We know Eric the Red first came over from Iceland in 985. That is a long time ago. And the last known record of them is a letter announcing a wedding at this church in 1408. And then they basically just disappeared. The common belief among academics was that they failed to adapt and were wiped out. But it's now understood that probably what happened is that they actually adapted pretty well. And it's more likely that they just had a terrible trifecta of bad luck. A cooling period triggered by a catastrophic volcano eruption in Indonesia, the most powerful one to happen in the past 7,000 years, the bubonic plague cutting off their trade with Europe, and then the ivory trade opening up in Africa, lessening the worth of the Vikings' own supply. Over time, they probably just slowly emigrated elsewhere, but if you ever find yourself in Greenland, I would highly suggest going to visit some of their ruins.
Those ruins in Greenland do sound interesting.
Old Google Earth footage of what could be the massive spacecraft being exposed in Greenland due to the melting ice caps, a UFO that's 300 miles long, 2 miles tall, and 55 miles wide, a craft that they say was buried under the ice for 50,000 years, can control weather, and is still active today. Buckle up, it's about to get real. So a lot of you were asking about where exactly this UFO was located in Greenland. That you couldn't see it on Google Earth, okay? So what I'm gonna show you is old footage. You can tell this guy, he posted it 4 years ago on YouTube, but he got this footage from older footage, it has to be. And I think it came from the time when Google Earth was more or less live and updated in real time. It was like that for the first couple of years it was up, or maybe the first year, but then it started getting sketchy, so they changed it. But I think this is from that time. And you can see exactly what I'm talking about as far as the Greenland UFO in Greenland. So you'll notice it at the southern end of Greenland. And this is Google Earth of old, so it's much different. Like, for example, look to the right. It looks like a pyramid, just saying. Like a massive pyramid right there. To the right of the screen, the bottom right. Massive pyramid right there. So you can see here an anomaly at the southern end of Greenland. This object was found under melting ice. And this was posted 4 years ago, and I'm pretty sure the video is from even an older time because it's not this guy's video. But notice the color of it. It's very square, very long. Here it says 120 kilometers long, 20 kilometers high, and 2 kilometers wide. I think they maybe got that wrong, because this guy right here says it's 90 kilometers wide. I don't know. It's up in the air at this point. But notice the colors. Very interesting colors. It's very square, and it is massive. It's huge. I wish it was still there so I could go measure it and kind of scope it out. But notice the very straight lines, very clean. An amazing craft, especially if it's what they say it is. Is this proof? I'm not sure. I don't know if you'd call it proof or not.
Alright guys, what do you think this is? Just looking at it, it does appear that something broke off the front. It definitely couldn't have been the front of the ship if you ask me, but it's definitely not Earth made. It's something humans made if you had to ask me, or something else. But very interesting. I do just want to confirm where they pointed at and see if it's still there. Oh, that was right in the middle? Protruding like that? That's gone. Whatever that was, that is gone. Even if I do a 3D view, they just made it all white now. Guys, tell me what you think that object was. Very interesting. They have been scrubbing all the good stuff, and you know, it's just difficult. They're making it a lot harder now. Is this why they want Greenland? On this small island, hidden in shadows, it's this thing. That is interesting. Damn. It looks like they didn't cover everything up on Greenland, huh? Call me crazy, but this looks like an AI database, doesn't it? This does look like something. This could be like some type of storage where the lab is, and this could be data centers, you know, because it's cold in Greenland, so they can run those servers as hot as they want for cheap. They got natural cooling. That's interesting. Then they got a landing strip so the planes can get in and out. Only one landing strip. You got to be authorized to land there. They're going to cover this up. At first I thought it was some type of ship, but now I see it could be like a lab. Guys, drop your thoughts in the comments below. What is this place? Alright guys, with a little bit more research, this is what the location is. I believe it is a Russian base by the name. I can't even read that, but it looks like a Russian air base. So shout out to Big Chief Thunderlung for giving us a clean snapshot of what the object used to be in Greenland. This was in 07. Now it's gone. And those are the coordinates. Have it. So if you guys want to look it up yourself, those are the coordinates. 70-40, but we tried and it just was all ice.
This 100,000-year-old black iceberg was just found off the coast of Greenland. Glaciologist Lev Tarasov confirmed the age at 100,000 years and believes that it was in the interior of Greenland and naturally went south, headed out into the open ocean. Now, it's speculated that the black ice could have come from volcanic ash or an asteroid impact, or possibly from earlier events in northwest Greenland. Although less interesting, another theory is that the ice stream just ended up carrying sediment-rich ice from inland, thus causing the black appearance within the iceberg. Tarasov also stated that about 90% of the iceberg is still underwater, and who knows what the bottom could actually look like. So whether it was shaped by asteroids, volcanoes, or natural sediment deposits, it's believed to be older than Homo sapiens leaving Africa.
Only we could get a sample of the ice wall and see what it's tested as. Then that could possibly lead us in the direction to see how it was possibly made, if it was made. Alright guys, it's that time of the day again. If you thought I wasn't going to give you another excellent specimen of the day, think again! I want you to feast your eyes on this specimen. Oh my goodness. You can almost see like a galaxy within it. You know what I'm saying? Like a nebula. What would you guys name this? This is a transparent green fluorite cubes with blue purple phantoms. Oh, I love that name, phantom, as describing something in the inside. But it kind of looks like a Milky Way, you know, inside it, like a swirl. If I had to name this specimen, I would call it the Phantom Galaxy. Yeah. And I would rate this green fluorite cubes, I would rate this a good 8.8. Excellent specimen. What would you rate it? And drop your names in the comments below for this specimen.
NASA's playing God. They're making their own weather.
Don't worry if you can't hear what I'm saying. I couldn't even hear myself. This is the loudest sound you could possibly conceive. And as it turns out, the cleanest.
Now, the most amazing thing is that cloud up there, which was generated by the engine, is just a mixture of hydrogen and oxygen. It's water vapor. And in about an hour's time, someone in Mississippi is going to get wet washing. It will actually rain. I told you! It's raining! That's unbelievable! Oh, NASA's playing God! It's making its own weather!
Now they're saying it's clean and it looks clean, but who knows what they're really putting inside that stuff. Is it that far-fetched to believe that the ice walls were probably generated? That's actually not the first time I've heard about that.
Welcome to Greenland. Its capital is Nuuk, located in the Arctic region. Greenland is the world's largest island, covering about 2,166,000 square kilometers, and the official language is Greenlandic. Greenland is an autonomous territory within the Kingdom of Denmark. The head of government is the Prime Minister of Greenland. The national motto reflects strength, unity, and resilience. The currency used is the Danish krone. The country has a population of around 56,000 people, with an economy largely based on fishing, mining, and tourism. The international dialing code is +299. Among its major towns are Nuuk, Sissamute, and Ilulissat. Traditional food includes dishes made from fish, seal, and whale. The main natural resources include fish, rare earth minerals, and hydrocarbons. Famous landmarks to visit include the Ilulissat Ice Fjord, a UNESCO World Heritage Site, Sermitsiaq Mountain near Nuuk, and the vast Greenland ice sheet, which covers most of the island.
You know, it begs the question, with all this ice over it, what's really under it and what's going on?
Earth is Mesopotamia. You might hear it all the time in all these history and Anunnaki videos online, but is it a place, a race, a kingdom, a religion? Too long didn't watch. It's a geographical region that gave birth to our modern civilization and became the transition point in history where cavemen turned into civilized man. This is the entire history of Mesopotamia in a nutshell. Mesopotamia means the land between the rivers, referring to the Tigris and Euphrates rivers that surround the region. Around 10,000 BC, a bunch of wandering nomads like the Natufian people noticed, hey, this crescent is pretty fertile and would be great for growing stuff. So they decided to start growing plants and raising animals here, the agricultural revolution. They quickly realized that growing plants and raising animals in a controlled environment is much easier than roaming the world to hunt and gather, like they've been doing since the beginning of time. Hunting got replaced with raising livestock and gathering with planting crops like wheat. They even dug their own smaller rivers from the main river to make the first irrigation systems and grow plants even faster, and set up the first permanent settlements with farming communities such as the Ubaid, Halaf, and Samara in the region. Everyone had the same job, be a farmer. And a bunch of these smaller settlements lived alongside each other for a couple thousand years. Then around 4000 BC, one group got really good at this whole agriculture thing, producing the first significant food surplus in human history, which meant they made more food than they needed, so not everyone had to be a farmer anymore. And some people could do other stuff, like keep track of all that new food or sell it to other people, as well as develop writing systems, math, law, governing, housing, religion, and the wheel. Meaning they'd need even more people to manage everything and keep all this in check, which in turn requires more food. This positive feedback loop is how society starts and is why Mesopotamia is called the cradle of civilization. These really good farmers called their settlements Sumer, and hence were the Sumerians, who needed cities to house their growing population, starting with Eridu, then Uruk and Ur, which they ruled over for 1500 years. In 2300 BC, a nearby settlement called the Akkadians took notice and thought to themselves, hey, these Sumerians are really good farmers and it seems to be working out pretty well for them. Instead of competing with them in farming, let's pour all of our efforts into training our people how to fight so that we can take over them and they'll do the farming for us. So they came in with a stronger army and did just that. Took over Sumer under the rule of Sargon of Akkad, the land of the Akkadians. This is the moment humanity realized, oh shit, we kinda need a military if we want to maintain control over our land in the long run. The Akkadians established trade routes with new emerging empires like the Egyptians and the Indus Valley civilization to make friends. Eventually, Sargon died, and the next ruler wasn't as good at ruling as him, which led to the fall of the short-lived Akkadian Empire after only about 50 years. The Sumerians briefly took back over the land around 2000 BC, only to be taken over by a few other settlements, which ended with the Assyrians. To think, all this fighting because the Sumerians were better farmers. Then in 1780 BC, a new king named Hammurabi conquered the land in the name of his empire, Babylon. Like the victors before him, he had a superior military and great negotiation techniques. Developed the Code of Hammurabi, the first written law system that he carved into this 7-foot statue. He died in 1750 BC, and Babylon fell with him, and we slowly started realizing the importance of teaching successors how to lead. Assyria took over again and managed to rule for another 1,000 years, keeping the area growing because they started collecting taxes. They kept their military strong and would deport people who got too smart to other areas in their kingdom to prevent smart people from grouping together and forming rebellions. Around 625 BC, the Assyrians fell from the combined efforts of the remaining Babylonians, Egyptians, and other smaller city-states. Babylon takes over again to form the Neo-Babylonian Empire under their new king Nebuchadnezzar, which shortly fell after he died. Guess they didn't learn from the Assyrians. A series of wars for power broke out, only to be won by the Persians, a new up-and-coming group of Iranian-speaking tribes, with their first King Cyrus the Great taking over in 550 BC, who was so great that he took over the surrounding areas of Mesopotamia and beyond, creating the Great Persian Empire. These guys lasted so long because they finally figured out how to train new kings. So when Cyrus died, the leaders who followed were just as good, and were one of the only empires in the region to successfully, albeit briefly, take over Egypt. The Persians too, like the Assyrians, spent a lot of time growing their military, with
This kind of reminds me of the 300s. You know, they got the same shields and the same helmet. For a second, I was thinking that's a minotaur, but I think that's just a horse.
Such leagues as the Persian Immortals, a battalion of 10,000 elite warriors that no one dared fuck with. And they were going off with their King Xerxes going up against a new city-state, Sparta, rising in Greece, which is the plot of the movie 300, although it's not historically accurate. But the Greeks actually ended up winning in the end. That started a conquest led by Alexander the Great, who conquered Persia in 333 BC under the rule of the Macedonian Empire of the Greeks, ruling for 200 years under the Greeks until 146 BC when it was taken over by the nomadic Parthians and then the good old Romans in 115 AD. Turns out the Persians weren't done yet. They just called themselves the Sassanids to form the Sasanian or the Neo-Persian Empire in 224 AD, which got overthrown by the Rashidun Caliphate, the first Islamic state in 650 AD, followed by many other military measuring contests over the next millennium, from the Turks to the Mongols, the Ottoman Empire, and a few in between, and eventually formed the modern nations of Iran, Iraq, and the surrounding countries we have there today in the 1900s. All this because a group of people made a bit too much food 6,000 years ago. So next time you complain about government spending too much money on military, remember, it's what a lasting civilization is literally built on. What on earth is Mesopotamia?
Your events, 9 out of 10 times, they come true. And why do I say that? Because there are alleged rumors that are floating all over social media regarding NASA and this thing called Project Anchor. And this Project Anchor allegedly was brought to life in the year 2014. And the reason for the creation of this Project Anchor was all due to a date in the future that they were very, very concerned about. And that date is August 12th, 2026. And what is allegedly to occur on August 12th, 2026? Earth is to lose gravity for 7 seconds. I'll repeat, 7 seconds where gravity just comes to a stop. And according to some alleged videos and articles that have been posted all over social media, it is not an explosion. It is not permanent. And it is also not the end of the world. But 7 seconds is long enough to cause a ton of chaos.
Some people theorize that gravity is only a theory, that some people underground had some machine that nobody calibrated, nobody seen. They came out with the test results and was like, oh, we have gravity. That's what some people say.
So basically, the claims are it'll be a temporary gravity collapse that will last long enough to cause chaos, but short enough for Earth to survive. And some of the videos go on to claim, because it's so short, that's the reason why there hasn't been any public warnings issued. And others are warning that our government has been warned, allegedly, that even a few seconds of gravity loss could be severely catastrophic. And also to note, allegedly, this is where Project Anchor would come in, where it would help to stabilize any of the chaos that is going on during that 7 seconds. And I am in no way saying that this is a guarantee to happen. But I guess my question to you is, if it does happen, what do you think could go wrong on Earth with us having a 7-second gravity stop? Let me know your thoughts on this in the comments. And as always, I'd love to hear from you.
While I'm watching that video and he's speaking about Project Anchor, I'm just like, what is the purpose of even saying Project Anchor? Like, what is their true purpose behind that, if the G word was even made up? You know what I'm saying? Like, if the G word has no purpose whatsoever, what is the agenda behind Project Anchor? Is it just fear mongering or what? I don't understand it. But that's all we got for this video. If you enjoyed this video, learned something, or found it entertaining, please hit that like and subscribe button. If you're new around here, we'll love to have you. We got one of the best communities on YouTube. We do deep dives all the time, and we'll love to have you. The code word for today, code word, deep waters.